Okay, boom. Am I frozen? Come on. You're not serious. You see, I told you, eh? Do you hear me?
We hear you, but your face is frozen.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so you see, I'm gonna restart the browser, I guess, and come back. I knew by putting that counter on, I'm like, that's it. It starts again. So hold on, I'm gonna stay there. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe if I just leave the studio, will work.
We're still live.
Yeah, we are.
Put a little bit of pu'er tea on that boo-boo. Well.
So yeah, it's going to be a good show today.
Mm-hmm. We're streaming to his YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Yep. And then we'll post it on our Crystal Clear Compass once it's all done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it gone to his Facebook?
Nope.
Okay.
Here we go.
My face now. Like, I don't know what's happening with that stuff. It's so weird. So I'm not going to put counters or music or anything. We're just going to go straight on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, the connection seems stable now, so we're good. So, guys, it's a pleasure to have you on again. Greetings. That's what I was going to say before. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today. But first, I would like to hear your perspective. That's why you're here, to share your perspective on all the stuff we're going to talk about. It's important to share. And the star alignment, okay? There's something very, very powerful, I think, going on with this. I don't know. I think it's something, maybe you can share your perspective on that. It's something we feel maybe more inside than something that will really reflect on the outside. I mean, the whole world's not going to start aligning with iron divine from one day to another. We're still very much work to be done here on Earth. But do you agree that it's something we feel inside very, very strong? Because I do feel it for the last month that much more aligned with the purpose, with the mission, and like really clarity too on it. So I would like to hear you on that.
Yeah, well, the Pluto going into Aquarius, and it's there to stay now for the next 200 some odd years, 280, I think, somewhere around there. So that's bringing a lot of clarity, I think, to our purpose. And then today we have the Neptune, Venus, Moon, and North Node all together on basically the same degree. Neptune's at 27 degrees Pisces, Venus, North Node, and the moon might be moved past a little bit. I was just taking a look at that. Actually, the moon hasn't quite hit it yet. It's at 25 degrees, so it's all in this like small cluster in Pisces. I feel personally that this is like, it's huge. It's like a huge move towards our destiny, because North Node is destiny. Then we've got Neptune there, which can represent spirituality. It can also be a bit delusional, so we have to be, aware of that. And then Venus, it's a benefic, so it's beautiful. And then the moon is just there. So it's going to be emotional. I've been kind of feeling like this, this welling up of emotion from this morning.
Moon is in its water triplicity in Pisces. It does good. Venus exalts. Neptune's in rulership.
All in Pisces.
And the North Node expands all anything it touches. The North Node energy is comprised of Venus and Jupiter. So it's a pretty benefic point on one of the benefics, Venus. And Venus is in its exaltation, happier, more energy, more potential. And then Venus is the lower octave of Neptune. So it's like this real close same energy, and those are all good planets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I only feel a good energy, like you said. It's really, but how do we come to know that it's like really has to do with star alignment, or it's just not our own timing, our own decision, our own? How? I think, like I said, it's you know it when you feel it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're aware of, we don't look at the chart every day, so it's not like it's not like a placebo effect. But then, like, something will be happening. Let's say one day we're experiencing like some tension, and then we look at the chart and we're like, oh, that's why.
There's a lot of hindsight
Mm-hmm.
confirmation too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you could put in what it could be, but every situation we look back, and arguments can start on Aries moons. Aries likes to start things, and it's a Mars sign, so people like to start fights and arguments. Well, they don't like to; they tend to.
Yeah.
They really don't like to.
Yep.
No,
stuff like that. I mean, anything and everything.
But you can, like, when you're aware of how these energies can affect us, there is still that free will, that choice. We can go the route of the vice side or the virtuous side of each planetary energy.
And I think, like, if you choose the road to virtuosity or higher and divine, or we can say the road to the heavens, like the stairway to heavens and stuff, you will be supported on your journey there. Just like if you take the road to darkness, you're probably going to be supported by evil vibe also. So I think there's both energy that come and attached to you depending the road you choose to take in life. That's my experience. I chose to take a road more higher and divine, and there's all kinds of blessing or good stuff happening. I call it the way you want. Some people don't like the word blessing, or but the blessing will fall like rain. But if you see it, if you, like I said, if you feel that alignment within you, that you're more aligned with higher forces, it's certainly going to come and not give you everything on a silver platter, but it's going to show you the way more and more, I think. And you're going to feel that stuff. Like, it's hard to explain because you have to feel it to know it. It's like the truth. It's like the truth. You got to feel that stuff. It's not something maybe necessarily outside of you. Maybe it's within you. So it's all about feelings. It's all about how we feel at the end of the day. Are you on a high or you're on a low? But if you choose to be on a high, you're going to be on a high with higher and divine, with stuff like that, with stars aligning, and you're going to be in exaltation too, in front of everything that is in the sky, and you're going to feel really related to that. Like, I'm not a professional on astrology. I know nothing about that stuff, but I feel it. I feel like there's something above influencing us here on Earth. Like, you don't have to be a genius to freaking feel that stuff. But you have to be aligned. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's where the alignment comes in. And it's a very, very important word. Very good word to alignment. Like, it's not like conscience, that's you've been conned by science and like conscious and stuff. Like, everything that has con in there, often I try to avoid repeating those words. I've been conned long enough, but when it comes to alignment, it's a whole different story, I think, than just talking. Like, it's something you really feel very powerful on the inside. I'm sure you feel the same. We're on the same, like I said, the same wavelength. So we don't even need to explain these things together. We do it for the benefit of an audience, but we feel, I'm sure, pretty much the same freaking fire inside, and the alignment and the purpose, and that's why you're here. Right.
I found that this alignment in Pisces impacted me in an interesting way. Last night I was rubbing my feet into the footboard all night, and it's funny because Pisces is the sign of sleep and night and bed.
And feet.
And the feet,
Yeah.
it's the feet in the body. Each sign is associated closely to a body part. Pisces is the feet, the two fish. And I thought that was really funny. And I wasn't really thinking of it's the Pisces alignment. I wasn't thinking of anything. I kept finding these pressure points, and I put it in the corner and I put like my pad on, and I feel this release of pressure all throughout my body. And I'm like, wow, it really is true. Your foot is connected to every organ. And I was experimenting and going all around and pressing different spots. And I could feel my lungs release in a spot. My digestion would pick up in another spot. And it was like 4 hours. I did both feet. And yeah, I would push one spot for like sometimes 25 minutes, varying pressures. I was really into it. Like it really illuminated my feet.
And it's not a normal thing that you usually do.
No, I've never done it except on this Pisces stellium moon.
So it comes to you naturally. That's what you're telling me. Like naturally, without even thinking of it, you align. That's the whole beauty of it. That's what I feel. Like I didn't told myself, I'm going to start making more music or stuff. Or no, I just started doing it. And then after I question, I'm like, what the heck is happening to me? Why am I so much on a high lately? The stars probably have to do in there.
Like, yeah, it's just electromagnetics. The stars are just changing the electromagnetic crystalline grid down here. You got whatever it is, the sun or Sirius or the moon or
Venus, Neptune.
Venus has like a different signature of electromagnetics depending on what sign it is. Is it in fire? Is it directly above your head? Well, it's going to change this crystalline net that we can't see, but it's guiding everything. Like even where I'm moving my hands, it's all mapped out, this grid blueprint. It's all this magnetic field that you can't see. And that's where sources from.
And that's interesting what you're bringing, Nick, because exactly if the stars have that much power in above, which they're probably like, when you look at them, it makes sense they're in some kind of plasma water or gas water. There's water above, definitely. Like, where does all that rain come from when it starts pouring like crazy at one spot? I think we touched that topic. So if the stars have that much power on our presence here on Earth, I think it's easy provable by what I told you before. Take your finger and put it into a bowl of water in the sun, and you will see that I saw a video, a guy was doing that with his wife, and he was putting his finger onto the water, and the water started to ripple to feel the frequency of the man. So if we can do that just with our little finger in the water, imagine our thoughts. Like imagine the stars, what they can project to us down here with all this wave land being propagated in the water above. Like, I'm just telling you what I feel here. I've done no research on that. It's intuition. It's simply from my core. You get that? But that's how I feel. Like it's something very, very strongly aligned exactly with the purpose that you're on. And if you have that frequency up also within yourself, you can probably match the star frequency, or I don't know, now that's maybe another caliber frequency also. Do you think that the frequency that each star emanate is the same, or have different frequencies? Like people here on Earth have different frequencies. Some are very low vibes, some are on a high on reggae like me, like crazy. Like some are high on other stuff. So you can be high on different kind of stuff. But natural stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely. Like each planet, each star does have its own frequency. The ones that most people look at, you know, the seven main planets. Then you've got the outer planets. But not only that, I mean, if you look at the sky, obviously it's full of starlight.
Yeah.
There's millions, billions, who knows? I don't even know how many. I don't know if anyone knows. But all of them have an effect. It's just that especially those 7 inner planets, have more of an effect. I mean, you've got, they call them asteroids. and those have an effect. Like there's a list on, you can look up individual asteroids, like 22,000, right? 22,000 asteroids you can look up. And in particular, I have one that represents, there's an asteroid called Debussy, which he's a, musician.
Yeah.
And I have that conjunct my Virgo ascendant, and I'm a musician. So it's just, there's different energies that affect us.
I've got the asteroids named Crystal in my 7th house of partners. And then that kind of goes for everyone, really.
Yeah.
If you look,
I was looking at her name, Crystal, exactly. I was saying that to my wife. I'm like, look at just her name, Crystal. She shines like a crystal. First of all, you're like polished like a crystal. And your name is Cavalier. But Cavalier en français, un cavalier, it's. Are you French? Do you speak French? No?
No, okay. I don't. Yeah.
French descendant, or your parents or your grandparents, or
it's an interesting story. So I was married previously, and I have 3 kids with my ex-husband, and he was a Cavalier. I didn't feel like I wanted to change my name because I wanted to keep that connection to my kids. So
anyway, there's maybe a purpose to that. That's it. But a Cavalier is someone that at night, it's a night. Yeah, so that's why I was like a crystal knight.
Yeah,
it's like a king too, or maybe a queen, and then you found that asteroid called Queen.
Oh yeah.
And then you had that on the same degree as your son, and then who she got the last name from, he had that asteroid Queen, same degree as his son too.
Oh, it's powerful. And when you start looking at that stuff in depth, and your name and why did they give you, because it's nothing is random here. I don't think nothing's random. It's all very powerfully, divinely orchestrated from above. Everything, like that's why you says above so below. Now, you were talking about the stars, and you said that you don't know if anybody knows how many stars are there. Now, my question to you is, could the amount of stars in the sky directly correlate to the amount of beings on Earth? Like animals, beings, anything that has life, lizard, a snake, a worm, anything. Like there's not only billions maybe of human. I don't know. I don't believe nothing on their nonsense. I don't know how many we are. But could there be that the amount of beings, sentient beings there on Earth represent exactly the amount of stars above? And could there be in previous time less stars in the sky? And a star is born as soon as someone is born here on Earth. Now, I don't like that word born, but in etymology, it's a very different thing, but we'll use the word born. But does it affect exactly? It must correlate. I don't know. Am I wrong, or am I going too far with that?
I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, it's an interesting concept for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. And then when you said everything's divinely orchestrated, it brought me back to, I used to say, well, I've said before, nothing crazy, but I've said, everything's orchestrated by all these transits and stuff, because you got all the planets there interacting with your chart. Even when you slip and fall, there's probably something in Pisces, because Pisces is the feet and it's a water sign.
You slipped and fell this morning.
Yeah.
I slipped and fell too. I had a major accident. I slipped and fell, broke my leg. Slept on the Westcott.
When?
Not today, though, right?
10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that I slipped and fell today, and all these planets are in Pisces, which is the feet, and it's a water sign, and I slipped on an ice patch, and it put me flat. And when Pisces is like, it's you lay down in Pisces. Pisces is the bed. And so it's just another thing for the transit.
And then like the orchestration, like divine orchestration, like what's an orchestra comprised of? Musical instruments. Yeah. So it's like these planets, stars are emitting a sound frequency that then is affecting our
the musical dance.
being.
Like I said on the last one too, every time Venus conjuncts the moon, Venus is copper in alchemy. If you look up the symbol for copper, it's the glyph is the planet Venus symbol.
In alchemy, yeah.
But every time the moon conjuncts Venus, there's a laboratory in California, and a copper solution sizzles every time moons conjunct Venus. So that just goes to show you have copper in your body. That's just one example how all these transits are changing the alchemy in your body. That's why you get angry and fiery during an Aries moon, because it's doing something to the whatever, possibly the iron or the fire elements, and it's agitating you. The whole thing that's just two simple examples for it's happening every nanosecond. Is changing alchemical chemistries,
and it affects each individual differently because we have a different elemental composition within our bodies. Like some people have more iron,
which is the birth chart. If you have lots of placements in Aries and Scorpio and perhaps a prominent Mars, these people have red heads. How many people have we seen that have a red head and they're either Aries or Scorpio? It's nearly every. Angela Nalder would be, I think, the only exception, and I think she had Mars and Leo, which is like Mars is iron and Leo's the hair. But like, I don't know, 70 out of 70 now, or 65 out of a lot over the last 8 years. Redhead, you look it up. Oh my gosh, Scorpio. Oh my gosh, Aries. Oh my gosh, Scorpio.
Mars conjunct Sun.
Because Aries and Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars rules iron. Iron oxidizes red. So the chemistry in their body is identical to their birth chart.
Wow, that's mind-blowing, because like even the air color on your body or the chemical composition, like we don't assimilate food the same way, all of us. Like I can be allergic to stuff, you're not. So all this could be also related to what's going on above, like, and what's going to happen also along your journey. Like you said, you slipped and stuff. And now can we go back onto those events and make sense why it happened at this time? Like, could I go back with the astrology and more feeling that more in a more deepful manners within me and make sense of the accident I had, or it's some, because I would say then, yeah, that was it, or that, because I always thought it was like my mother and that died just a year prior to that, I think, or something. And she wanted to put me on a divine path. So she said, I'm going to do something. But I always thought it was like, and now we're talking about that. Let's talk about angels or beings up there. Like, is there a way? Because if you said they make sound, okay, you said the stars make sound. Can we listen to the sound of the stars? Maybe we would like hear some stuff that's really mind-blowing. I don't know, is there a, because it's pretty far, so do they have a possibility with their telescope or stuff to even tap into the sound of the stars? They see it, they can see the very clearly what it is, but the sound, is it something we can hear?
Yeah, I don't remember the website or what it was, it's been years, but we found the recordings of different planets, and you can hear them. They're very eerie, some of them.
Sometimes they tell us, they hear stuff from outer space. You know, they will shoot at us like sounds that supposedly come from outer space, far away galaxy, and just some nonsense, but it could be just the stars. Like maybe they're
probably,
I don't know that
something. I don't know.
They
music is so divine.
Yeah.
And then each the 7 planets govern a chakra. So I mean, that would be frequency and color coded based. Like the moon is the root chakra. It controls your roots and your home and your mother and your in the womb and money, Mooney, and Monday. and
emotion.
The moon's in Capricorn. You have dark
emotion. There's moon in there.
Yeah. And like, you know, our emotion is one of the things that changes very frequently, right? I mean, we're throughout the day, you're generally experiencing many emotions because the moon is the fastest moving planet or luminary in our sky.
And it only goes forward too. It doesn't retrograde.
By saying emotion, you said the moon. Look, true man. Am I not emotional here? Am I not showing my true emotion here? And I call that show True Man. It's crazy, you know? Like there's the moon in there. Probably I'm a very emotional guy. I can cry at nothing because I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So what is your birth chart? Do you know any of it?
No, yeah, someone Santos did it for me live on YouTube, I think once.
Oh, okay. We'll have to look at
do it.
Do you know your sun sign or your moon?
I don't remember, honestly. No, it's been a while. Maybe we should do it together next time we're together. We do my birth chart or something. But it would be interesting because now you can gain some clarity into that. And now you just by saying emotion, you were talking moon. I'm looking on the screen, true man. Like,
yeah.
And I never really thought of it. Because I love reggae music, and in Jamaica they say man, they say man. So I'm like, okay, I want something that fits with reggae. So true man. So that's what I did. But without knowing, I have the moon in the name.
Yes, you do.
I'm blown away. Okay, this is a real big, and you see more enlightenment, more clarity today just because we get together. So you come here to give me exactly the clarity that I need on this mission. That's why I told you you're very important. Look what we did. Wow.
I wonder if you were born on a Monday. We could.
If I was born on a Monday, I would have to check.
What's your birthday?
1st June.
Okay. What year?
73.
Okay. What day was it? It's a Friday. Venetian music.
Oh, yeah.
But you may have, we still don't know. You may have your moon on your ascendant, your moon in Cancer. I don't know yet. It could be interesting. I'm sure you have something lunar going on.
1st of June, the 1st of the month.
Yeah, that's Gemini.
I always felt like strong Gemini. Like definitely.
Well, that's why you're that's part of the reason why you're a podcast host is Geminis love communicating.
I want to extrapolate on this.
Yeah, Gemini is the sign of communication and talking and that's why you're drawn to it.
Podcasters are Geminis.
Or Mercury, have a prominent Mercury placement.
Very often Gemini, it could be. Wow. Yeah, you can't really defeat it. People are like, well, I'm not a Gemini, but if we look at the chart, hey, you have Mercury in your 10th house, on your 10th house cusp. That is very mercurial. And then, people say that, and we can look at the chart and figure it out 99 out of 100 times. Sometimes there is an exception. Like, I don't see anything. Just because we don't see it doesn't mean there is a lot, like she said, 22,000 asteroids and points and stuff. There was a time we were doing guessing people's signs, because you can see all the signs in their face. Scorpios, they got a bird look right away. You see a bird, and so on. And we're usually right on, but sometimes we're off, and we're like, darn, what the heck? I felt so strong about that, and now I just kind of feel like maybe astrology is not that accurate. Turns out there was a major point we were missing called the vertex, and that's considered like the second ascendant. It's a calculation, ancient calculation they used in charts. And you can add it in with the softwares. But all those guesses that we guessed, we kind of went back and we were like, we were right about that person. They had the vertex there. We were right about your mom. I thought she was a Leo for sure. Nothing in Leo. Okay. And hey, found vertex. It was right there in Leo and so on. But like like I'm saying, basically what I'm saying is, yeah, it's very accurate, and we still don't even know
all of it.
All the accuracy of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're really looking at the stars and making sense of it, naming them, seeing the stuff, joining the dots, because it's what it is. After all, you look at them, they're dots. Don't you want to join the dots in your life also, your own dots and stuff? Like, often that's the work you have to do on the earth, pretty much. Join the dots. It's like you're all scattered in different places, and you're not your true self because you're all in like a puzzle that you have to put together. But that's the puzzle up there too. Sometimes it can be a big puzzle to put yourself back together. Trust me, I know the process. You know it too. And you have to let go of a lot of nonsense that you were attaching to beliefs and stuff and food. And anyway, all this stuff.
Sorry. If you look at the body like a micro,
all the time go. You can cut me off anytime because that's all I do. I talk, so no problem.
Yeah, I bet your Mercury is direct, and I want to pull your chart up in about 40 seconds here. After I say this is kind of interesting thought. I thought of this years ago. I don't know if I read it somewhere. It doesn't matter. So if you look at the microcosm of the man, and then the macrocosm is without, you look up. Santos told me this part here. So you're on Earth, which is an anagram of heart. The heart chakra is green. And then if you look up, you see blue, right? What's above green is blue. And then what's above that is it kind of turns to that black, dark, purple space where indigo's here and violet's here, past the blue, I think at least. I know when you look up, blue's above green. But then if you look up there at night when there's no colors, you see all the stars. Yeah. Well, and if there's that would be the top of the head, and those lights could be your neurons, and that could be like connecting the dots. Those are like your neurons fire, and then if you connect all the dots, that's like your brain up there.
Wow.
That's huge what you're saying there. That's freaking huge, because that's major, because now we have that's really the brain up there, and what's orchestrating everything is your brain in your life. No, it's not your gut feeling, they say, your heart and stuff. But if I take a decision to move my hand, it's my brain. It's not my feet, it's not my belly, it's my brain. So the brain take action. So exactly those stars being all the little neurons that we have, and there's millions and billions, I'm sure. Like, I have never opened a brain and decipher a brain in front of me and look on the microscopic level, but I know we have cells in our body. Like, come on, we're on fire all the time, and like me, I'm on fire. So for sure there's electricity within me. I can feel it, that stuff. Yeah. So that electric feeling is up there also. Like, all those, they're connecting together also. It's like the network up there is not separate from each other. It's like the trees on Earth, the network in the ground, they're all joining together. So the stars, the same, but in like in our brain.
And it's the collective mind. You think of the collective mind, and you kind of think of just up, right?
The super soul up there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what is do you know your
sense of everything here together? We don't know anything, but we have intuition, and we're very driven to find out stuff. So,
and then you're all you're born with a certain time, and then there's a different neural network up there, and then that's your personality, because your brain runs like everything, right? It's the head of the show. So it's like, you look up what kind of neural network are you kind of fixed with. It's funny.
At the moment of your birth, they're aligned a certain way, so it comes and probably infuse you with because we're all on a mission. We all have a mission here on Earth. Some ignore it, some bury it, some don't want to know nothing about it. Just talking about light is just too much. Even God sometimes is too much. But even if it's I think there's many gods, just like there's probably one supreme creator, but even that, how do we, if it's not within us, where the heck is it? Like, we have been given power and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. Is it not true? Like, we have power and dominion over everything. But if it's not God power, what is it? If it's not within us, like I've never, I've seen it in front of me. I see it now on the screen. God, you can see it in everything. You can see it in people. You can see it in animals. But now, how do we come to make others realize that exactly the journey is to find the God within, not the God outside? Like
mushrooms.
I don't know. That's the next thing I want to bring you on. Now, not only psychedelic mushroom, I've done it plenty of psychedelic mushroom in my life. I love it. I microdose also sometimes, not every day, but I microdose often.
Yeah.
Because I love the feeling of mushroom, psychedelic mushroom, but not on a high dose. I like microdose because it really brings a side of you, like it's powerful, the microdosing. Now there's also the mushroom extract, the lion's mane, the cordyceps I take and stuff like that. I started taking that. I feel a lot different since I'm taking it. Everything is clearer. Like, I don't know, those mushrooms have huge power now. Extrapolate on mushroom power, please.
Our favorite new superfood. Yeah, our favorite new super mushroom is the Amanita muscaria. I mean, that's the one depicted in all the films and all the artwork. It's always the red and white Amanita muscaria. It's actually illegal too, which is funny that the Matrix, like, it's right there.
It's legal, yeah.
It's legal to, I'm pretty sure it is. And then it's like in Mario eats the mushrooms, whoop, 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 grows big, and then they grow under cedars and pines, which are just holy, like the spine pine, pineal, turpentine pine. And you can't really regrow. You can't grow your own Amanita muscaria, which is great because I don't want the genetic network or the genetic traits, signatures of this mushroom to get ruined like all the other ones grown in little those apartments and basements, and then those shipping containers. People grow mushrooms and the fluorescent lights and all that. Keep them outside, right? And then those are so good because they're only outside so far today, and they grow under pines, and that's a really good super. It's like the mushroom of immortality, the food of the gods, they say. And then you got John Allegro who decoded the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is a heck of a task. He wrote a book about the mushroom and the sacred cross, and it's something to do with religion, and Jesus is very intertwined with mushrooms. And he has the Amanita muscaria mushroom on the front, so I'm presuming that he's referring to that mushroom. It seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, just yesterday, we were testing out a Amanita oil infusion because we're sending it out to people that want it, so we have to test it. And we took more than we normally do just to see.
That's lovely.
But it was only a dropper, like hardly any. But we're super sensitive, and the connections and the realizations that I personally had yesterday, the ideas, like the fire of creativity, because the one we tested was Carpathian. It brings out that creativity, and it worked.
Yeah, and
now it was emotions also. It will bring out emotions out of you. Like often when I do that microdose, I become very, very emotional. I go back in the past and anything can make me cry. A song, like what is the connection with mushroom and emotion?
It must just open up. It just opens up everything. The connection to source, the connection to your emotions.
We could dilate your biological systems too, which move water around. Water holds memory and emotion. If you're trying to block something out, you're just holding pockets of water in various areas that are structured with stored emotions.
Yeah, because if you take a large dose of psilocybin in particular, you start,
I think it's very powerful,
watering, like everything, like your eyes start dripping just involuntarily. Your nose, what do they call that again? The wets or something like
somebody
that?
just named it that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But
so definitely
often people don't do this. People don't want to really engage into a psychedelic mushroom and stuff, especially if you have never done it in your life. I've tried everything when I was young. Maybe why I'm so open-minded and like acid, everything. If nothing I haven't probably touched under the face of the sun. Today, it was scaring me at the beginning to take that microdose, honestly, because I've done so much and I'm done with this shit. Like, I'm 51 and I have no really desire to go on a psychedelic trip so much. I've done it. I know what it is. And it can be also, if you're not super aligned and stuff, it could derail you also. So, especially acid and stuff like that. So, but psychedelic mushroom is a whole different thing. And when you start microdosing, it's not like macro dosing. You don't feel like, it's just, I feel it more, and we don't put, and we do it ourselves too. I do it myself. I get the mushroom and with turmeric and ginger, and I put that into a little capsule, and there you go. So you don't have to buy it necessarily. You can make it yourself. But what I'm saying is, how do people really get to trust the power of mushroom? Because it's powerful, but not much people want to go there. And especially if you have experienced it a lot in the past and you have let go, now you tell yourself, okay, I'm 50, I'm doing freaking mushroom again. Like, to me, it was kind of weird, but it's the best decision probably. One of the best I took in my life is to try the microdose. And it's really life-changing. But how do we get people to, how do you trust the process? Is there something special we should do before getting to this? Or
I would first
smoke weed, I don't know, something.
Yeah, first educate yourself that the pharmaceutical complex, they pay off, because they have a huge budget, they pay off writers to write things, because it'll change their sales. It's all about increasing their sales. So they'll pay off anything that could interfere with it, like people going out and finding pine needles and herbs and stuff growing in the wild. And mushrooms is a huge one. So you got to know that all that stuff comes from J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller and all these people, passed down to all their workers. And a lot of this information just isn't true about nature. You still got to be careful too. So it takes a lot of discernment and wisdom and trust and faith and balls too, even, because there are poisonous mushrooms and they will stick to things that are partially true and then make that the whole picture. Like, there's poisonous mushrooms, you can die. And then they'll stretch that all over everything. But so I think it'd be good to educate them that there's incorrect information out there. And this is why, for business, which makes sense to everyone. Oh, it's about money, right? Okay, that makes sense. And then educate them how mushrooms are good, what it does, how they've worked, and stuff like that. And then I think you should introduce them to maybe all the lion's manes and stuff, and then or just go straight to, and the Amanita, because it's wild and Amanita is more relaxing, and then a small dose, probably where they can't even feel it, and then up it to where they can feel it, and then play around in that area. And I think more people would be bound to try it out and stuff.
And then, like, maybe not even do the macro dose. Like, some people it might be too intense, and then they're scared away from everything that could open their minds.
Yeah, it's too extreme.
It is extreme. I think
the pendulum swinging, you go all unconscious your whole life and then to full consciousness. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, that's it. People are mostly walking dead, and now you bring them to life with the mushroom. So it's like a big shock. And suddenly you see everything different. The colors are more vivid. Me, what I find is that everything becomes more colorful, even with the microdose. Like, you gain clarity. You're not eye on mush at all. I'm not eye on mush, but everything is more clear.
Yeah, it's more defined. Like, there's more definition.
It's like a software upgrade. It's like going from an old 2005 TV to this 4K TV. There's more information. It opens up your electromagnetic spectrum, and you're getting more information. It's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. I recommend it to anyone that's a bit, I don't like the word spiritual, but we'll use it, spiritual, and wants to, like, I think spirituality is more a deeper connection with yourself. That's all it is. You're more deeply connected with who you really are, your mission, the divine, everything. All this is spirituality, is awakening to, is awareness, is spirituality. for sure, if we go at the literal sense of the word, it's spirit in there, but then they take that word into alcohol, spirits and stuff, then spiritual, spirit, and the spear also. You have a spear in there, like what you want to. So that's why the word, but if we go just by really about us, what it is to be spiritual, it's really a deeper connection with yourself. Then you have a deeper connection to source, to the stars, to the Manetta Muscaria, to anything that good that this earth has to offer for you to start having clarity. But I think it's really important to experience this kind of. I'm a guy that like marijuana a lot. I think you know that. But I have my thing is cannabis, but I like also, like I said, the microdose because of the clarity. And it's really something astonishing to see also the alchemy happening inside you just by you taking those substances. Like we're all, I think, kind of alchemists. We do self-alchemy inside. That's why I said the food transform all into each and everyone, metabolize differently. And some people cannot eat bread. Others can eat bread all day long and they're fine. Like, it's not my thing. But anyway.
Funny. See, here we go. We're talking about, it's a Pisces moon, which is altered states, psychedelics, and it's on Neptune, which is same thing. And here we are going straight into this. So this is another example. And this is just all day long. Crystal and I have been noticing these connections. Oh, wow. It's this moon and we're doing this. Oh, wow. It's a Thursday and we're hanging out with the Sagittarius. Thursday is Jupiter day. But yeah, I really love cannabis too. And I found a great cannabis site because I don't like how cannabis has been crisscrossed and all over and who grew what under what lighting system, because LED lights emit, and the other lights too, they grow cannabis with, emit tremendous amount of electromagnetic noise, unharmonic, and I don't like that energy in it. I think the sun's in it.
Creates anxiety.
And then they crisscross.
Hold down. You bring something here. Wow. Oh, that's huge, because you're telling me that the lights that they use to grow inside will affect the chemistry of the plant? And that's why people are anxious when they smoke weed, because it comes from inside grown instead of outside with the sun?
Yeah, and the roots need to be grounded to earth too, the negative polarity. And also and then they also want to be connected.
Never thought of this.
Yep. Yeah, and then a lot of people are worried when they're growing it too, because it's illegal, until like recently, and it's still, they're worried the whole time.
So they're putting that worry into the growth.
Who's coming? Is somebody gonna find out? So then you smoke it, and then you're like, oh, who's there? Who's coming? Who's gonna find out?
And that's big, because it's right what you say, because the plants apparently feels us. They feel us, like your house plant. No, you're getting home before you get home. Like they have the trees have eyes. When you walk in the forest, they see you. If you think they don't see you, how can they interpret the light and dark and the season if they have no eyes?
Right.
Yeah. So you really want them outside, because the sun's positive and then the earth is negative. You want that.
And they use LED now and all kinds of bad lights.
Yeah, and the lights are huge, and then it needs its aura to breathe, because it'll only grow to it has an electromagnetic field that can sense what's coming. So if you got a big expansive sky, it can reach out, and its aura is huge. The torus field, the donut around it, can stretch rather than running into your refrigerator and whatever,
your wall or ceiling. Yeah.
And then also the roots, they're in the mycelial network, and they want to connect with, and you can put mycorrhizal fungi on the roots, and that boosts the mycelial network around it. So if you're lucky and you're growing in the right spot, it can bind up with that mycelial network, which you can do pretty easily. And then it can exchange information with all the trees around it. Need a little copper? Here's a little copper. And they all talk to each other and help each other grow.
This is a big what you're saying. I hope everyone that grows weed listen to that, because we're always under the impression we're doing good inside. But like you say, the best cannabis plant will be planted directly in the soil. But not many people do that, because even when they grow outside, they grow in pots.
Right.
I know. Which is somewhat okay, because if you have a little bit of holes on the bottom for drainage, what they will have, and some moisture, it will connect the electromagnetic fields, and it'll be pretty good. Pretty much just as good, I think, unless you can get it in a real good spot outside where there's a lot of mycelium and other good plants. But something around something like that.
And I've smoked weed in my life too that was making me cough more than others. So maybe that has to do also the stress.
And then some people are using like chemicals. Like, who knows what they're growing it with?
Yeah.
To boost its yield.
Yeah, and then the EMF actually makes mold grow faster.
Oh yeah.
Up to 500,000 times faster. And that's a 5G tower, but all EMF makes mold grow faster. So you're making these plants with huge buds too. They're breeding it for huge buds. It's under EMF, so now you're gonna have little mold in there that you won't even see until you see it sometimes, but it's still probably gonna be there. Also, the sun kills mold. So, and then the heirloom strains, which I want to get to, are more open, so the sun can get in the air, and there's gonna be no mold in the landrace heirloom strains,
because they're not like that tight bud that everybody wants.
Yeah. So the best part is
there's fruit I won't grow here in Quebec, definitely, because it's too cold. Okay, and if you try, no, go ahead.
Oh, and then the best part is to get seeds with this. To get seeds with this heritage that have been outside their entire time, and then from sacred areas where the chi and prana is high, like mountains, are half in this reality and half in the spiritual realm. You want to get mountain cannabis, like just any mountain, Tibet, Nepal, Mount Sinai in Egypt. We got cannabis seeds from, and then the Afghan mountains are really good too, the Hindu region. So I found a site where they go, and it's seeds directly from this area, and they've always been outside, and it comes from really high, like you see all these Tartaria and stuff. Well, they use it's their strains, and then it's outside. And you want to start with seeds like that and grow those outside, is my point.
And they haven't been tampered with, like cross genetics and all that.
And some is where like South India would be really good. That's where a lot of these immortals and masters are. But yeah, the site is Real Seeds Company, or realseedsco.com. It's really cool, man. These guys are smart too. They know the history. Syrian cannabis is really good too, because it's the sacrament of cannabis usage goes back some of the farthest that we know of, but it's everywhere, And then the India ones in the South India and the Greek, that's a good one. Get those seeds. Anything on that site, read about it. I like the South India ones and the ones from Mount Sinai, Egypt. The Mount Sinai, Egypt one that I grew last year was purple. It was like the most purple thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it's just for clarity. It's therealseedcompany.com. So, yes.
Good.
Okay.
Now you're talking about certain places on Earth, like India, and like I said, there's certain fruit. If we go with fruit, I cannot grow here. It's too cold, and tropical fruit won't work, and cactus and stuff. Doesn't work here. But there's other places on Earth that they can. If you try to grow cannabis in Quebec outside, good luck, because it's so humid in the fall, in the summer. There's too much humidity. Your bud rot instantly. I've done it. I've tried many years. I gave up completely because there's no point. It's too humid. And yeah, it's 90% humidity in the air all the time here. It's crazy, the humidity in the air, especially in the summer. In the winter, too, I can check right now. I'm sure I'm over 70% humidity. So you have that outside. So now what I'm saying is I look at California hot springs. Look at the weather there. This is the perfect place to grow cannabis, I think. California hot springs. So now, is there really like places that we should respect to grow these kind of plants and not try to grow them everywhere inside in very unnatural settings? But now it makes sense why people grow cannabis inside. They're unnatural themselves. So
yeah, you may
not
want to
go
find
towards nature.
you may want to find a ascension or a domesticate, they're called, from that site. There's other ones too that are pretty good, but that one's really good. That has strength in that environment, because some of them they do have strength
in humid environments.
Yeah, so that latitude up there I think a Russian strain would do good up there, a Siberian one. But I don't know how humid it is in Siberia, but I think that these landrace strains have a higher resistance to pests and stuff because they haven't been weakened by EMF and the chemical fertilizers too. Oh man, a lot of these seeds you're getting have a history of EMF and chemical fertilizer, and they're just going to be weakened. They're not going to be as strong. Mm-hmm. These wild ones that I grow, you don't even really need to fertilize them. They don't like fertilizer. I killed off all my first 40 of them with natural organic fertilizer. You need to wait till they get about a foot tall and then use a little less too. And then put neem seed. You can get neem seed online. Put neem seed, ground neem seed in the fertilizer, because neem seed's anti-parasitic, and parasites will attack plants too and everything too. That's what mold is. So the mycorrhizal fungi and the neem seed, those are really good too.
And to make it your own, like so it can benefit you, you can water it with your own urine, your own DNA.
Yeah, which is the salt of the earth. There's so many mineral salts, and there's gold in urine. Urine has been tested, and gold makes plant grows. And urine is also negatively charged too, and that's a big deal because it has lots of magnetism, and it's not a toxin. Toxins are positively charged. If you test your tap water, it's very positively charged. If you test urine or like hydrogen water, or maybe even spring water, it has negative voltage, and negative voltage is just a really good thing. It doesn't have free radicals. It has negative ions. Like by a waterfall, if you take a tester and put it by a waterfall, the voltage in the air is negative. It's not positive. Yeah, positive voltage is has free radicals. Even the electricity we use in our homes these days is positive charge. It's inflammatory, toxic, deadly. It'll kill you. Everyone knows it'll kill you. It inflames you. But what they used to use is negative voltage. These Tartarian buildings, this giant ether clouds around them at night in the fog, you can see this purple ether. That's negative voltage, and it smells like ozone and lightning. That's safe electricity. You can touch that in the millions of volts. From what I understand, what I'm learning, and it actually heals you. Those were healing chambers. That type of electricity reduces inflammation. It jumps a negative ion to the free radical positive ions in your body from toxic metals and the stray electricity coming into us from the electricity we use nowadays. But yeah, that comes from...
And they call it volt. They call it volt, but there's a lightning bolt. And it's electricity. Why they call it bolt, not lightning bolt?
B and V are interchangeable in most languages. B and V are the same. I can't think of a word right now, but they are.
And in the like lightning is like, so the lightning is positive and it's grounding to the negative earth.
But the baby come from the vagina.
Yeah.
The baby
come from the vagina.
Oh yeah.
B and V.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a bunch that I have in somewhere.
Yeah. Now there's that's it. The whole thing about cannabis, also what people don't realize is when you have bugs showing, let's say there's aphids and stuff, it's exactly because there's something wrong in the soil. You're doing something wrong, but people put pesticide and all kinds of stuff trying to get rid of the aphids when the problem's in the soil. You restrain from, first of all, there's no network. Would someone grow here on Earth without a network, without others? No. They will grow deficiently. You will be deficient of knowledge, of wisdom, of all kinds of stuff if you don't attach yourself to others. So same thing for the plant. If they're not planted in the ground, exchanging with each other, I'm sure they're weaker and more prone to attacks and pests and stuff, and their immune system is not there. Just like you will get attacked by all kinds of evil force and nonsense they're going to pump in your head if you don't protect yourself with a good network of great people enlightening you and stuff. And like, I don't know, to me it makes sense. Don't it?
That's a good one. I like that. Yep.
Good analogy.
It's
yes.
true.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're all very much linked to the earth. We just don't see it, and we don't see exactly what's happening in real time because we're too focused on external stuff. And that's sad, but that's what it is.
Yeah, and then what you had mentioned before I brought up the mushrooms is how can people stop focusing on the external? Well, in India, when these great avatars, like the 18 Siddhars and the Mahasiddhas, what they do is, when it takes a lot of work, but basically what they do when they completely, fully embrace the fact that everything outside of them is them, that's all them. What we're doing here by staying alive is thinking that you're different from out there. And it's keeping your consciousness right here. When you fully merge and connect and fully connect that all you are everything, you disappear. And they disappear all the time. There's even that Mexican Jacobo Grinberg who disappeared. And he studied these siddhas of South India. There's people all over that do it, but South India has held the tradition. And there's meditation temples all over where certain saints, avatars, and siddhas have disappeared. It's called activating their light body, or their Vajra rainbow body, or in Buddhism it's called rainbow body. In China it's called golden body, golden light body. You disappear. And some of these people, they'll finally get to that point. It takes a lot of work. Herbs and medicines help. Kaya Kalpa is the herbs that they use. Yeah. But some of them, they'll disappear during usually mantra. But sometimes their clothes will just fall. Their clothes will be left there with their hair and their nails. A lot of times it'll just be their nails. Sometimes they'll shrink to like an inch, I think, or 3 or 8 inches. And then they'll fall, and then their nails will be there and stuff like that. But yeah, that is a thing.
Wow. I would like maybe just to close that today, talk a bit about copper. Okay, because I hear a lot about copper. I even see people making copper houses, like they're outside of their houses built with copper, like there's copper sheet metal and stuff. And we know the power of copper, how it can also maybe transfer a lot of good vibes to us, the copper. So can you extend a little bit on maybe the metal itself and how we should approach it, and how is it linked to astrology also, and why also cups are called cups when it has nothing maybe to do with copper? Like, I don't know that whole cup thing. To me, it's copper. Cup is copper.
They used to have hats that were made of copper, and they were called copper tops, and then they shortened them to cops.
And cops is Venus, or excuse me, copper is Venus. I mean, most cops are good. They're good guys.
I'm not saying they're by thing.
Right.
That's why they had copper tops. And Venus used to be the warrior too. Yeah, what ties it in totality is we're moving into a copper age. We just left the Iron Age, the Kali Yuga. We're going into the Topara Yuga, which is a copper age. Actually, it's lesser than copper. It's diluted. It's the Bronze Age, which is a alloy of copper. I think it's 70 or 80% copper, and then the rest would be like zinc and maybe some silver. But yeah, we're moving into basically a copper age, technically Bronze Age. So copper is going to be coming out, and copper has an absolute intertwined alchemical connection with estrogen, because Venus is feminine. Venus rules copper. Copper is a feminine element, and that's why we're moving into a matriarchy, and men are becoming feminized because copper in their body is increasing, and the way the body is processing copper is increasing estrogen. And it would just move from Iron Age, which is Mars, masculine, patriarchy, and then everyone's obsessed with copper now because we're moving into a copper age. It's a benevolent element, and it has to do with protecting EMF radio frequencies, and something like that. We're moving into a copper age.
Okay, so if we're moving into a copper age, should we see more houses having plumbing with copper because they have removed it all for the benefit of PEX or plastic or some kind of nonsense or metal that leach into the water? So the copper is the solution. They always used to make houses with plumbing and copper. Why it's not there no more? Like copper is so available too on Earth. Like we're in the age of copper, so I'm guessing the golden age. There must have been a lot of freaking gold on Earth at that time, or maybe it's coming the golden age. I don't know if it's a cycle. So we have been into a golden age before. Like we're not in Pisces age forever. I think the ages changes, the consciousness. I'm using it. Changes, the state of mind of the people on Earth change with the ages. We get more precise on our alignment and mission and stuff, divine mission. So definitely the change of age of Aquarius bring more knowledge and stuff. But the copper age is something very interesting. Will we see more copper around?
That makes sense. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like, the copper water bottles, those came out, I first was introduced 8 years ago. And then the salt, all the, like, how people are so interested in salt, all the different types of salts, the Himalayan salt lamps, those might, those kind of faded out recently. But the age of Aquarius is sodium chloride. That's their mineral. Its mineral cell salt is salt.
Yeah, and the last age was iron phosphate, which is the blood maker, and people were feeding from animals, which is blood, and plants have more sodium chloride than everything. People are switching to plants. It's all tied together. That's why they say as above so below. The ages really do control, govern, manipulate, regulate, orchestrate everything that's going on with the humans. The humans are just little earth blobs, little fungal earth blobs. Like Alan Watts once said, like an apple tree produces apple fruits. Well, the earth peoples. It grows up little people fruits, people fungal blobs, and we just kind of, move around this thing.
But you were talking about the lamp with the salts and everything. Like people go a lot with that, with copper mug or stuff. But then there's the other people that like, that doesn't do nothing for me, or show me a meter, an electric meter, so I can measure it and make that it's there, or they want a tangible proof, visual proof that there is frequency coming out and it's good for you. But personally, I think you are the meter. You're just not aligned with the frequency. Because if you align yourself in a certain frequency of receiving those salts and that copper stuff, and you have faith that it's what you need, and you know for a fact that it's good for you, you will resonate more with it. It's all about vibration. You will vibe with it, but you will not vibe with it if your vibe are dead. If you have a dead vibe within you, you're a muggle going around without magic. You're never going to feel that little Himalayan salt sting emanating frequency and stuff. So I think all these stuff are really for people that can align themselves with higher frequency. And that is the copper, the gold, the precious, the good metals that you can use instead of stainless steel or aluminum or some kind of nonsense they want our food wrapped in. Like, why don't our food is not wrapped in copper? Why don't we use copper foil instead of using aluminum foil? Do people do that, copper sheet foil to cook your food with? Have you ever seen that?
You honestly have to be careful with copper, because if we put
it's too much
juice or something in a copper
acidic
water bottle long
it
like
melts
years ago,
easy also. It melts
and
easy.
it pulls too much out, and then you get like a stomach ache. So and then we did try the copper pan. We found some copper pans, and it just it doesn't react properly.
Yeah, you also need to look into the metallic based copper versus other types of copper, versus which size it is, nano, pico, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's good for cold application, like water, cold water, transport your water or whatever.
Yeah,
the
basically
cold application,
water.
drink with it. But maybe not so much hot application.
Yeah.
Anyway,
then,
that was super interesting. I was gonna touch.
Oh, and then turquoise is copper, and copper turns blue, and Venus is benevolent. B and V, B and V are interchangeable. Benevolence and blue, and bueno and bien, and all those bon are good. And then Venus is V, Venus, virtuous, and Venus is copper, which turns blue when it oxidizes, a bit blue, a little green, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But that's that B and V, and there's a lot of connections going on there. Of course, there's Pisces.
Okay, I'm going to bring you another B. Another B is battery. When you're car, because right when you said green, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see it on the battery in the car, and it gets oxidized, and it's called vert de gris. On appelle ça vert de gris en français, but it becomes green on the battery when it leaks. So what does this have? Because we are human batteries, so what can we leak green stuff?
That's copper sulfate on the battery terminal. That's oxidized copper from the copper lug, a copper sulfate from the electricity oxidizing it. So just more interesting stuff with copper. And then if you look at like a tarnished copper tube, it has the same color as all that. But there's a lot of connections with that.
Colors matter also. Maybe next time we're together, we'll look at the color frequency and all that stuff. I'm interested into frequency, vibration of stuff around me, especially beautiful people like you. It's like, that's freaking gold.
And then our bloods used to be our blood used to be copper based bloodline, and it was blue.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Also, the blue blood into the octopus. There's an octopus, I think, or a crab. A crab has blue blood, but we have red blood.
Like too. Like if you look at our veins.
If you look, it's blue.
Until
it's oxygen.
And then the iron, and it oxidizes because we came from the Iron Age. We descended into iron through the Iron Age. We used to have blue skin, blue blood, and then the Iron Age, which I don't know how many years it was, but I'm sure I know it was at least thousands. And we took on the element of iron, war, and all that.
Wow. Anyway, mind-blowing stuff. Again, you've completely blown my mind today again with your wisdom, definitely. But I think we're a great match for that because, exactly. That's what we're both on the same wavelength. So Nick and Crystal, large up again for your full presence and power. And the connection was good today. The internet gods were with us. So thank the internet gods or whatever, the power above that makes this whole beautiful meeting of ours happen. And I'm very grateful for your presence. I will forever be grateful for everyone that come here and share with me, with us. You share with, maybe not, we're not going to touch everyone on earth, but at least you touch my heart very deeply. So I'm sure you touch others on your journey on earth. So I wish you guys all the best. And I will be here next Saturday if you're up again. We can keep on going with colors and vibration and frequency and all that stuff. I think we're very intuitive, the three of us together, and we build up on great stuff. Like today, you blew my mind with that cannabis stuff, and I've never thought that even the light could cause stress to the plant and transfer their stress to you. Yeah. Wonder why you're anxious when you smoke weed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this weed that I
stuff.
grew is good. Have to try it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I'm sure everyone that pretty much listened to this is like, yeah, that's freaking, I never thought of it. Like, why am I stressed when I smoke weed? I am more anxious and maybe smoke better weed or don't smoke at all. Use oils and stuff. I use a lot of extract. Me, I don't necessarily smoke because it's not really good for you. I care about my body. So once in a while, I engage in smoking. I'm more of a midnight toker than daytime toker. I smoke at night. But I don't know what does that signify also. Maybe it's written above somewhere. But yeah, I'm more of a night toker. But I like the extract, like with the MCT oil, which is good for you also. I would like to approach that topic of oils because there's a lot of rancid stuff out there. And you can clearly tell the quality of something by the packaging and the color. And if it's authentic, an olive oil shouldn't be brown. It should be green. The olive is green. So why do olives go black too? I think they even treat them with chemicals to go black and stuff. So all those topics, we're going to look at it. And the color of the fruit, the frequency of the fruit, like an orange is bright orange like the sun. There's a reason for that. When the sun go on the horizon, I don't know if it's set, it just go on the horizon. Let's just leave it like that. When it passes through the horizon. So yeah, it's the same colors in the orange. And why does it also change color? The sun from being right there in front of me, it's like freak. No, I'm not gonna see nothing.
Very bright.
Okay, so why now I have a sunspot in my eyes? Okay,
yeah.
I can look. But anyway, why is the sun change? Is but maybe it emanates just more light in right now than it does, but why also, like, all these questions come to me. So no, we'll explore all that. That's it. And diets also, the food that we eat, the proper food we should eat to nourish our body properly. You both look very healthy. You've been into this healthy route for a long time. I've read your stuff, so I'm sure you can share some stuff. And I don't want to talk vegan here. That's not my point. No labels, no nothing. Okay, I'm not into no cult whatsoever. The cult of oops, I have enough. Ooping from cult to cult. So there's no label, just the food. What makes sense that we should eat with our heads and stuff when we start.
And it's astrological. Like all that is connected. Like the foods that are best for our human body is all connected to this.
It should be very fun. Again, it was very fun today. I have fun doing this. If you don't have fun doing something, you're not doing it right. So I have a super fun doing this, and fun with PHUN, like it's a balanced fun. It's a fun. No, it's just fun to be alive and do these things. Me, I'm so pumped and high on everything. So
yeah, we enjoyed ourselves too.
I suggest everyone to explore that facet of their life because I really enjoyed myself today. I'm very grateful. So guys, much love every time. And I'm going to end the stream. Maybe I'll tell you 2-3 words before you.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep. See you later.
So we are out officially, leaving the stream, but it's all that. See you later, guys. Boom.
Bye.